And welcome back to the podcast that nobody asked for, but we're here anyway, so fucking deal with it.
That's right. We'll tell
Okay,
you everything you don't want to know.
exactly. And you're really ugly, and your mother doesn't like you. She doesn't want you to know because she's a nice person, but you're a fucking asshole.
And I let you dress funny so people would laugh.
There you go. This is Behemoth and the Little Red Machine, and we picked the absolute perfect pay per view to come back to, watching WWE Backlash 2025. And oh boy, was that a great choice by me? Probably have to watch to make sure you don't stab me during my sleep for having us watch this show.
I think so. You'd just be watching for that big rat in the shower again.
Or a knife in the back, or yeah. Okay, so we're gonna be as fair as we can, given that up till the main event, this show was kind of more on the border of mediocre. But oh boy, that main event.
Took it straight into hell.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't even have Kane there to help us and set somebody on fire. At least that would have been more interesting. Yeah, so background on this, we watched WrestleMania in large part so that I could gab with our buddy Jose. And WrestleMania was kind of similar to this show in that there was a few good matches interspersed, like half and half among just really terrible garbage. And some really bad match endings. And that seems to be a common thread. And the other thing I've noticed is WWE and AEW both, because we've watched a little bit of each, is the matches are often interminable, which means really long for those of you who don't have a thesaurus handy. So, yeah. So basically, the story behind this is John Cena's a bad guy. He's got the mean face, and he tells the fans that they're assholes now. And Randy Orton suddenly being a nice good guy, and they're in St. Louis, his home. And it's the 20th Backlash, the last Backlash with John Cena. And if that's going to be the matches that he has going forward, then maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe it is time for him to retire past time.
What? I mean, first, the Cody match at WrestleMania wasn't that great either.
No.
So anyway, so the crowd's pretty lively. It's the first time in forever I've watched a WWE show where they didn't say that it was a new record for the building. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, apparently it was a new record. So I don't know what happened. Maybe they were like 3 shy of the record. They only inflated it by like $3,000. Whatever. So anyway, the show actually started off pretty good, which I don't know if that made it better or worse to see the ending, but we started off with a fatal 4-way. And we were with Sarah and...
Let's pause for just a minute. We have to give... I can't say kudos.
I was about to get to that. I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
What's her name? I didn't even catch it.
Alicia Taylor.
So every match we got to hear, and I'm the champion! Yes! And it's every time I wanted to gouge my own ears out. At the end of it, I finally just started muting it whenever she would speak.
Amen, brother. That was so good on my ears when you did that.
It was... I don't know what happened to ring announcers, but I mean, I'm going to just do my back in my day moment, even though I'm not quite that old yet. But back in my day, we actually had announcers that didn't sound like they were about to rupture something when they were speaking. Now we've got like... AEW's got Justin Roberts, who's like the originator of this garbage.
Oh my god.
And WWE has Alicia Taylor, who, oh my god, I think she might be worse than Roberts, and that's saying something. That takes effort.
At least Roberts doesn't scare you when you look at him.
Yeah, I mean the hair.
Jesus
Christ. That's terrifying. And the outfit looks like she got it out of a Goodwill.
And it got it for someone that was 3 times heavier than she was.
Yeah, because she's not a heavy woman, but the outfit's huge.
It was just horrible.
Which, I mean, if she was a good announcer, I wouldn't care about any of that, but wow. Anyway, but that if you can get around that, the first match was a fatal 4-way, and normally fatal 4-ways are horrible, smelly garbage, but this one was actually pretty good. And then, to be fair, that's because of the people in it. So we're looking at LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and Jacob Fatu, and they basically at the very beginning they kept a really good pace through all this. It was just like one person just dominates, and then each one gets to show their stuff, and then like a big flurry at the end. I enjoyed it. The ending was kind of just teasing the dissension between Solo and Jacob. They brought in Jeff Cobb, and if anybody listening hasn't watched Jeff Cobb, yeah, you're in for a treat with him unless he's changed dramatically because he was great in Lucha Underground. He was great in New Japan. He's not tall, but he's really stout and he does amazingly impressive strength feats. And he's Olympically trained, so he's pretty good. And he was a monster character in Lucha Underground, so I expect we're going to see more of that. So it's probably going to be like Monster versus Monster, Jacob versus Cobb at some point.
Yeah, that's what's coming, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Some of the things in this match, and I'm gonna let you talk about it here in just a second, but
Go ahead.
I'm gonna. Some of the things that were interesting here was Damian Priest almost killing himself, leaping off of a large platform and busting him and Mac both through multiple tables. I mean, there was a lot of really cool spots. There wasn't as many like multiple person ridiculous take forever spots as there usually are in a Fatal 4-Way, which is what I usually hate about them. And there wasn't an overwhelming amount of weapons and bullshit. It was just like 4 guys showing off what they could do and doing a pretty good job of it for the most part. It was, there's always going to be 1 or 2 things that aren't perfect, but you don't expect perfect. You just want it was a nice, fast-paced start to the show. What do you got?
I think that it's a good watch if you like big guys, and even if you don't. They did some amazing feats for big men that I haven't seen done in a long, long time.
True.
Priest has really upped his game. He's put on some bulk. He looks healthier. He's stronger. He's got more of a move set. We've seen him in several different independent.
Yeah, we've been watching him for 11 years
11
now.
years, and he's just gotten better and better. So if you haven't seen him, make a point to watch a few of his matches. He's really
let's be
good.
real. Anybody that's actually going to watch this, I'm sure they watched WWE just and seen him. Now, that previously his problem was just the crowd didn't really react to him.
Yeah, but
they did more here.
Finally getting into it, and I think it's like I said, he's upped his game.
And to be fair, he's actually much more entertaining when you watch him with interacting with like Rhea Ripley or something. His personality comes out more. It's always been good in the ring.
Well, that's what was missing. I think that's why they weren't responding, is because he wasn't making any interaction with them verbally. And come on, the more they taunt the audience, the more we love them.
Yeah, exactly. So, what are your thoughts on this? Oh yeah, he's awesome. The Samoan werewolf they call him. He's got a lot of Rikishi and Umaga in him, but he can do some pretty crazy athetic moves.
He's a big guy, and you don't expect him to do a lot of the moves he does. I think he's really.
And he's got that aura of menace about him, which is what I like. Is that there's not that many guys in wrestling that the crowd might think this guy might just snap and just punch somebody at random in the crowd or anywhere else. And it's a throwback to the days when he had like Terry Funk or Cactus Jack. I'm not saying he's that kind of wrestler. It's just he's got that malice.
Absolutely.
He's not like a dirty street fighter or something, but he's just a big guy who can do awesome stuff. Umaga is probably the best competition, except for that Jacob's allowed to speak some. Mm-hmm. Although I haven't heard him that much on the mic, but when you can do that kind of stuff in the ring,
you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to be that great on the mic. You just say a few words and kick everyone's ass. Anything else you got on this one?
Not anything more. We pretty much covered it. It was a really good match. They pulled out some things you don't expect for big guys.
The kip up with
yes.
Drew.
Yeah. My God. He's huge.
Drew's awesome. He's been good for a long time.
Yes,
it's kind of funny. WWE cut him when he was younger, right before, and then he got really good after he left. And then when they brought him back, they've finally put him to the use that he's. I lost that train of thought. That one just derailed. This is a product of watching Orton versus Cena. I'm going to blame that one.
Oh my God, it was 40 minutes long. No wonder our eyes were rolling back in our head.
And
it was boring to begin with.
Oh yeah. So anyway, the second match on the show was Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. Who you love this match.
But I have to say that the Cena and Orton match made me appreciate this one.
Yeah, at least it
was short.
It wasn't like 7 years long.
Mm-hmm.
Lyra Valkyria, I've not really seen much of her, but she comes out in an outfit that looks like she got attacked by a giant pigeon and she got her arms like stuck. So I was just hoping when she came in the ring with those little wings that Becky would just jump her from behind and beat her up.
Me
because,
too.
Probably because I'm a jerk, but also because I just thought it looked goofy. And let's just. I'm just gonna cut to the chase of what I thought about this. I thought this went way too long. Although again, Orton versus Cena made me feel less bad about this, and I feel like Becky was way above Lyra in terms of all of her, basically everything. and she kept having to slow down, and Lyra was kind of was slower and more awkward. I mean, maybe some finessing she might get to the point where she's at Becky's level, but she's nowhere near it at this point. And
I felt like she was saying, one, turn this leg right, two, put this hand on her shoulder, you know?
And it's just like taking forever to put on her holds, and it's just like, and then it kind of degenerated as it went to like slapping and like women fighting in the playground. It's just like they did everything but like throw sand in each other's eyeballs at some points in this match, and I described this to Jose as New Japan style false finishes in a mid card women's match. I mean, they kicked out everything. I mean, at least they didn't bring out a ton of weapons and stuff, I guess. But that's just like, well, at least it was only bad and not painful. I'm sure we're gonna get heat for this because the crowd in the studio loved it. But I'm just like, they were. Oh, yeah, you got to talk about the chant that we loved on there.
Oh God.
This is awesome. I'm like, this match sucks.
I'm like, if this is awesome, then what's a bad match?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Well, we would find out, wouldn't we?
Yes, we did.
We would find out. Oh wow. And the ending. Oh, even though the crowd was hot. Oh, you know what? We'll get to Orton versus Cena, but I can't stop thinking about it. It's like, it drills into your brain, and then you just you can't get it out. It was brutal. But yeah, so Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria went too long, wasn't very good, but the crowd was into it anyway. So I didn't like it. It's not my thing, but I guess we can pass it. Do you have anything else you want to talk about on this one?
What can you say about this one? It was slow. The Valkyria just inept. She's slow. She needs to be back in like NXT.
Yeah,
where they're still learning how to be a wrestler and how to taunt the audience. Getting the audience's attention you don't get by slapping on the damn mat.
Oh, she did some gymnastics though.
You don't get it. You get some of it by showing your butt and all your parts, but still. This is a wrestling match.
Depends on what butt or parts you got.
Well, this chick didn't have much to deal with, so and then you look at the face with all the paint on it, and it was worse for the paint. So I don't think there's any redeeming that.
Sometimes the WWE, you swear they apply their makeup with Homer Simpson's makeup gun.
I was going to say a trowel, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's a natural look. You're so natural you can't see any part of their actual face.
I think the best part for her was that they showed her fiance, who scared me within an inch of my life because I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, and whatever they were ugly. But
I did like Becky taunting them though.
That's the part I was getting to.
Yeah.
So that's what made it good for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw it. I'm like, who is that person? At first I thought it was Lyra's mother, and then they're like, oh, it's the fiance or her fiance. I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right, whatever, and moved on immediately. But yeah, Becky Lynch is better than this, and yeah, I don't have anything else to say about that one.
I just have one other thing to comment on.
Oh, what's that? Oh, the ending. Oh yeah, that's a good point. They did. Here's the thing, and I hate this no matter who does it. When you have like where you throw everything in the kitchen sink at everything, and then you end the match with a shitty roll up or leverage pin, and it wasn't even done that well. I know some people, you look back at like Jericho versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 19, ended in a leverage pin. But at least it was done well, even though I really didn't like that one either. But this was kind of just like slow and just kind of half rolled into it. And it was really anticlimactic with what was going on. I mean, they'd hit like, 5 finishers or something and just kick out, roll up, pin.
I love the part where she was at the very end where she was going to pin her, but she goes ahead and pulls her further into the mat. It didn't make any difference because she immediately pinned her. So why move her?
Yeah, on one of them, one of the false finishes, her shoulder wasn't down. The referee had to tell him to put the shoulder on the mat. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Anyway, so that's basically it. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out because this is our cathartic venting on this show. And we're going to have like a break right here because we're going to have a good match in before we get Cena Orton. Yeah. And during the show, they were interspersing different moments with Cena versus Orton to build it up, that was pretty cool. We got to see them both in OVW, and I'm sure we're going to hear something from Jim Cornette on that one because he, I wanted to say raised him, but I guess in a wrestling term, that's true.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was from 2002 that they showed the match, and it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was good to see them there when they were both young and just starting out in the business. But anyway, So we move into Dirty Dom
Woo, this is
Mysterio versus Pentagon for the IC title. And for a couple of people like me and you who like those fast, like lucha style matches,
God,
this is a
love
lot of fun. But it actually had decent psychology for the most part. It wasn't just like total no selling the whole time, although there was some, but it was a lot of fun. And they're both over. And so Dom actually starting to get cheers because they like him so much, even though he's the most classic chicken shit heel possible.
Absolutely.
Always backstabbing and just doing all kinds of heinous stuff, but people are cheering him anyway because he's good at it and he's enjoying it. And he's constantly messing with them.
It'd be like booing at Ray. You can't do it, even if he's supposed to be the bad guy.
Oh, Ray's never the bad guy anymore. But anyway,
He was a long time ago.
Pentagon's really
awesome.
He's really fun. We've been watching him since Lucha Underground, and he's really good singles. I did not like him in a tag team with Phoenix. They just had no chemistry. But man, ever since WWE made him a single again, it just revived all the things I enjoyed about him in Lucha Underground.
He's having a good time, and you know it, and that makes you have an even better time.
And he's insane. So
Yes.
we're going to see some crazy shit from him if he does anything like that. Of course, they won't let him do the things they did in Lucha.
Oh, no.
They're not going to have someone drink somebody else's blood, thankfully, or set each other on fire, or all the other crazy things they did. Stick them in a spike in each other's head.
Drink blood.
Yeah, drink blood. That was really
so
gross.
disgusting.
But anyway, so this match was what you'd expect and what I was hoping for. And just like you would expect from Dominic Mysterio, he had all the Judgment Day come out there, a bunch of shenanigans. And in the end, Chad Gable, a.k.a. What was it that they have him as his gimmick as his luchador?
Yes.
El Grande Americano.
El Grande Americano.
Yeah, he loaded his mask with like a metal plate and headbutted him, and then Dominic took advantage of it and hit him with the frog splash for the win. Because he has to honor his papi.
That's right. Where's Eddie when you need him?
I know. He's there in spirit to watch Dom cheat his way, lie, cheat, and steal his way to the victory.
Absolutely.
So it was a really fun match. I don't have it. Even as much as I complain, I have nothing bad to say about it. It was just a lot of fun.
Come on, they do those moves. They did a suicide dive and did tornado DDT. Come on.
That was insane.
It was awesome to watch, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I hope they don't kill themselves.
Yeah, it's like you feel like they could wrench somebody's neck out of socket with that one, but it looks so smooth. And I do want to point out a couple, before we get to the next match, which was okay, I want to talk about a couple of commercials.
Oh yes.
Because this is the really important part. You know, you don't watch wrestling for the show, you watch it for the commercials.
Yes.
You know, like the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Who cares about Super Bowl? Just watch commercials. So the Old Spice Miz commercial is great, where he's spraying everybody's underarms, because that's what I think about when I get in there. I see all these big sweaty dudes. I'm like, God, that's gotta stink. So he's got the Old Spice and he's spraying them all on the underarms. It was hilarious.
It was funny.
And this wasn't on the show, but because it's on every YouTube channel that I watch, I have to talk about this. So there's this Wells Fargo commercial, and they've got a dude and his girlfriend, and they're going to this eating at a restaurant. Have you seen this one where he doesn't have his credit card, and she's like, "Oh, I'll get it and I'll pay for it."
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna Zelle you the money," and it's like, Zelle her $145, and I'm thinking, holy shit, could this be any more tone deaf? Who in the world that is watching this commercial is going to spend $145 on a lunch for two people? What
Dakota's downtown Dallas.
Well, they're going to eat like caviar, and it's going to be served on a golden plate, and they're going to bring the cow out and kill it, and then you grill it in front of you. Yeah, the guy playing violin. I'm like, where do these people go? No, people don't go out and eat dinners for $145.
Yeah, I like the other commercial where he says he forgot his wallet, and she says, "Oh, excuse me, I've got to go to the bathroom," because he tells her, "Can she pay?" And instead of going to the bathroom, she calls for her car, gets in her car, and hauls ass.
That's a commercial.
I like that one better.
Well, yeah, that's more realistic.
I like that one.
Especially if you told me to pay $145.
Yeah, that's my point. They were this
crawl out the
fancy
window too.
Place. Yeah.
Of course, I wouldn't go into one of those places to pay that much for money anyway. But man, so now that we've talked about the important things, let's get back to Gunther versus McAfee.
Oh boy.
So this is a classic style matchup. You used to see Triple H do this a lot back in the day. The arrogant heel who's like a total badass versus this like mid-card guy who you want to root for him, but you know they're not going to win this match.
Yeah, you know they're going to get their ass handed to them on a platter.
But Triple H, or in this case Gunther, is like playing with him.
Well, Gunther is your old style heel.
Yeah, he's the foreign menace, old school heel, except for that he's more active in ring like a modern wrestler.
Exactly.
He's like the best of both worlds.
A little bit of both,
absolutely. But he's great. Gunther's awesome. So, anyway, so he's toying with McAfee, just messing with him, taunting Cole, beating on him. And he's like, because he's playing with him, McAfee gets in a lot of offense. And then the most exciting thing happened, which had nothing to do with the match, which was our neighbor. Their chicken escaped from their yard and was running around the backyard like a crazy person. And they're trying to run around and catch the chicken. I'm kind of half watching the match, but more watching the chicken, just a little baby chicken running around like...
She's making a monkey out of the people. Okay?
Yeah, it was great. So that was the most entertaining thing I actually saw, which had nothing to do with the show, but the Mad Chicken Run. But anyway, I came back in to see the ending of the match, and
he squashed him like a bug.
Yeah, he did. And the fun part was Cole trying to hold down his legs so that McAfee could steal the win, but it didn't work. And then Gunther finally just finishes him off and pins him. It took a little longer than I probably would have liked, and that's a problem I have with a lot of modern matches. You don't need everything to go like 20 minutes.
Okay, but this one, Gunther was doing it on purpose.
That's fair.
He was torturing him because he had the nerve to challenge him about Cole, because Cole was trying to stand up for what he believed in. For once, he opened his mouth instead of talking Vince's line. He actually talked his own line.
Well, that's because Vince has shit himself out of the company.
Well, that's true, and he wouldn't have to worry about not having a paycheck every whatever weeks it is he gets it. But the bottom line was, I have never seen him have that much animation in all the time we've watched WWE, and he's been on there.
Except, actually, I will say it was one of the time in NXT season 3 when it was the women, and he was just constantly.
I didn't see that.
He was constantly ragging on the women.
With good reason. They suck.
Most of them were horrible. There was a couple that were good, and most of them, and they were doing the dumbest things imaginable in that series. But anyway, sorry, I cut you off with that.
No big deal.
That's the only time I've seen him really that animated, when he was just mad about that.
It was really good though. McAfee is a trip. He's tons of fun. He's brought a lot of life to those announcers in the time he's been there. I deeply enjoyed
a lot of people hate McAfee as an announcer. I think it's funny because he's one of the only ones I actually like out there.
He's very animated.
I mean, sometimes into it, and sometimes he does go overboard. But I'd rather have somebody who actually has some emotion than somebody who is just like dead out there, which is what a lot of the announcers are.
Even though he has a bit of an accent, he's still very easy to understand. That's my problem with some of the others. Like, I have a lot of trouble with Barrett.
What do you mean? You can't understand why Barrett speaks perfect English.
Yeah, I'm not Texan. I want Texan or Californian.
Oh yeah, I mean
nobody. But I don't want that.
Nobody can understand us anyway, so that's okay. So we'll get. I'm not averse to people making fun of Texans either. So
me either.
So it's fine.
I take it in good spirit.
We make fun of them; they make fun of us. It's all good.
Yeah, part of the fun.
And then I just put on my cowboy hat, get on my horse, and start firing my guns off into the distance, and it's all good.
There you go. And just make sure you ain't in front of me where I'm firing.
I'm not going to shoot at anybody.
No, but if you jump in front of it, it ain't my fault.
Oh no, I don't know. We're not going to talk about murder. The only thing murder on this show is the murder to our brain cells from watching the main event.
Oh God!
So
here we go.
Let's get to it. This was wonderful. So we got to see Cena versus Orton, part 1712. And if you watched during the 2000s, you saw this match over and over and over and over and over. And I did. I saw every one of them, I think. There may have been one or two I missed. I might have fallen asleep.
I stopped after the first few because my brain cells were dying.
Yeah, and even when they were both young, and let's be real, neither of these guys is young anymore. They were still mostly boring matches with a few exceptions. Orton, I will always be a chief resident of the Randy Orton hate club. Because while he probably is smart to do as little as he can and get his reactions,
he's so boring.
It's so painful to watch. I know all the wrestling legends love him, but I can't. I'm so bored watching him. Even the 80s style WWE wrestlers did more. It's just like, whether it's on the mic, in the ring, it's slow, like gelatinous. And this match was no different. In fact, it was worse.
Well, the announcers commented on that Cena was trying to promote a slow match, which went right along with Orton because Orton's matches are always slow.
So
so it's not just us. That's
that's literally his gimmick.
That's it.
But at least the announcers were trying to, But I will say one thing: the crowd was going ape shit for most of the match, and they were at the end too, but not for the right reasons. Anyway, so they were just doing this the old school like sleeper, headlock, flip them over. Like I swear, we went 15 minutes into the match before anything really happened of substance. There was some taunting, an eye gouge, but just slow. And it's one thing if I'm watching.
Perfect either.
Oh no, but I mean. They're
my
old.
point is, they made mistakes too, like when Cena grabbed the wrong leg.
Oh yeah, he grabbed the wrong leg to put on his own finish. It's not exactly a great sign for the match. And then as it got long, it just degenerated into a total clusterfuck.
Yep.
So we had 3 ref bumps. You think that's enough? And one of the refs, you could have run him over with a car and set him on fire, and he would have gotten back up quicker than he did. I don't know how long he was on that mat. But you could have timed it with a sundial.
It was terrible.
I mean, they basically, it was like a really slow, boring match that broke out into a slow, hardcore match for a few minutes. And then Orton hit the RKO on 1,700 people, hit Cena with the RKO like 5 times, had him beat like 3 or 4 times, but there was no referee because the referee was dead, and they killed the other referee. And then the referee came back just in time to count the pin in the end after Cena finally did something. And then Cena, taunted everybody on the mic afterward, and not even that wasn't that good because by that time they're just booing like mad.
Well, because he was making a speech that sounded like a bitter old man at the end of his life. Who would want to hear that shit?
And it wasn't even an interesting bitter old man. It wasn't even like a Jim Cornette bitter old man that you can just enjoy laughing or following along with it. It was just like, you guys are bad, and I'm the real world champion, blah, 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 blah. But hey, I mean, on the positive side, we didn't have a skinny rapper come out there and do nothing at the end, so I guess that's better, right?
I'm not sure which is worse because it just depends on your criteria.
The ending, I think both the ending of this is even worse than the ending at WrestleMania. Simply because the whole thing had been so dull up to that point. It's like WrestleMania ruined what was a decent match, but this was just like the whole thing was awful.
Yeah, start to finish, it was a piece of crap.
And of course, Cena wins by cheating, hits him in the nuts, and
gouges him in the eyes. Don't forget.
Oh, that wasn't that earlier? I don't know.
Yeah, it was earlier. One gouged one, and the other one gouged him back.
Yeah.
It was like 2 children on a playground throwing sand at each other. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was and I felt like I had sand in all my crevices after watching it because I was just so damn annoyed. On the other hand, if you have insomnia, this is a great match to help you sleep. Because
you don't even have to pay for it.
No, you had to pay for Peacock or whatever to get on there.
But I mean, you have it anyway, so you can turn that on there.
You just turn it on. You just put you right to sleep. 40 minutes. That's what
40 minutes of pure hell.
Yeah. Oh, hell would have been at least more interesting. Things would have happened. You get some torture, some fire, or something. This would be.
Maybe Kane would be there.
Yeah. But in this case, it's more like a purgatory because nothing happens. It's just nothing.
Catholics are really good at that, torturing the shit out of people. So yeah, probably.
I thought they tortured them with the sermons.
No, that's before you die.
Oh, okay, that's fair. But anyway, so to sum up this pay-per-view, run. Don't watch. Don't watch this. If you want to watch it, watch the first match and watch Pentagon versus Dom, and just pretend the show ended there, and you will be much better off. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Gunther McAfee. It's just it's just there. It's fine.
It's a squash match.
Yeah, it was an extended squash. But, don't watch the main event. Unless you're just like the most hardcore Randy Orton fan or John Cena fan. And as much as I like Cena on the mic, and he's fine usually in the ring, but this was an atrocity.
The last 2 times that I've seen him, his summation of his match and when he talks to the audience has been, or comes off like a bitter old man.
Yeah,
and so it ruins it. I don't think that's his gimmick. I think he's really a bitter old man.
Well, either that or
he's retiring, and I think he's bitter about how things went, and the fact that people both cheer him and then tell him he sucks. pisses him off.
It may be, but I think, I mean, that's, if it isn't in gimmick, it's at least, I mean, he's 100% accurate because the fans are so fickle. They'll cheer one guy, and then the next minute they'll cheer the other guy. They'll cheer the guy who's taking a razor to the other one's head and about to chop his balls off or something. It's like, yay, cut off his other testicle. Woo!
That's true. They are a little on the fickle side.
Yeah, so anyway, to sum up, Backlash was only slightly less painful than a backrash. Avoid the show. There's only 2 matches really worth watching. And for everybody who came on here, please make sure to put your hate speech below for all the matches that you like that we didn't.
Or if you hate us, be sure and put that on there too.
We really would like to laugh at any comments, and your dislikes are almost as appreciated as your likes. So anyway, that's signing off for our comeback show. What a show to come back on. And everybody have a wonderful weekend and stay the hell away from this trash pay-per-view.
Good night.